Would we ever say Michael Phelps manifested 26 gold medals? Any other person would have panicked. Your brain will start to believe what you tell it. One thing to clock is actually some athletes love negative visualization.
This is something I was going to ask. So it can actually be a good thing as well, right?
If you do it correct. So I think the most famous example would be Michael Phelps, because he, with his coach, would visualize the water in his goggles filling up. And in the visualization, he would basically plan how he'd respond to it. Now, he did many different scenarios. He did some where he was falling behind, some where he literally did a bad dive, etc. And then in Beijing, it happened. And it was in his fly race. And his goggles filled up. And not only did he win, but he got the world record. And in the interview after, they were like, what happened? Because we saw something happened. And he was like, so my goggles filled up. Now, any other person would have panicked. They would have been like, should I take them off? Should I just keep going? They'd look around. He was like, I had visualized that scenario over 50 times that I knew exactly what to do. It didn't faze me. I knew I had to swim the rest of that race blind. And he did that.
Is it easier for very talented, confident people to get behind visualization as an example?
Yeah, I think the great thing about it is it's versatile. And I think the way I would explain it is when you look at your life, where visualization can help is in 3 key areas: the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you perform. So if, let's say, fine, you don't feel like you're a very confident person, then what studies have shown is that by you seeing yourself as the confident self-image you want, and you have to define that for yourself, then actually you can start becoming that person. Very simple. However, let's put it into a task, let's say, that all of us do. Let's actually take podcasting, okay? So or public speaking, communicating. When I grew up, I was okay. I was just pretty average, right? And then actually, through different experiences in my life, I became worse and worse and worse and developed a massive fear of it. Take today, I'm now, on stages all around the world, on podcasts, etc. That didn't happen because I was physically doing it all the time. I really relied on using visualization to get better at the skill so that when I did then perform, I was better. So I'll give you an example. Before any live event, including this, so I did this in the car here, close my eyes, and I will mentally rehearse, right, Maya, how do you want to walk in? What do you want your hands to do? What do you want your tone of voice to be? And it might sound a bit it's kind of well, does it really work? But again, think about it. I am priming my brain to show up for a task better. I will perform better than 90% of people because I've done that. Because I'm not nervous. I'm not oh no, what if I say something wrong? My brain and body are in autopilot now. Of course, it's not to say that it's not gonna turn out exactly the way it is. It's more I am controlling what I can control. But because so many of us are on autopilot, we just walk in, and let's say we've had a really difficult experience, I don't know, at home with our kids, we're gonna come in with that same energy. So it's kind of that chance to just reset. But also, if I take it, when I wasn't very good at public speaking, for me, it was just being able to get my brain used to the fact that you could speak on stage or you could speak in front of people. So I was telling my brain, actually, we've done this 10s, 20s, 100 times now, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And it's the same level of if you were to actually go and do it.
So if somebody at home who's never done any visualization at all before, how would they start? Yeah,
so I always recommend, 2 types. One, I think character is very good to start with, because I think if you ask yourself, right, what's an area of my character I just want to improve right now? Sometimes it is confidence. Sometimes it might be I want to be a bit more empathetic. But a lot of high performers will, they say, I want to respond better rather than just react to things. I want to be able to show up for my family. There are so many different aspects of our character that we can keep improving. So very simply, you would, again, close your eyes and you would see, well, what does that actually look like? There's no point us saying it I want to be this. And then we don't actually tell our brain and body what that looks like. And then once you do that enough with repetition, you start acting like that. You start thinking like that.
Sleep is the most impactful and natural performance-enhancing tool at our disposal. Without it, my body would simply not be able to recover and repair itself after I go for a run or a workout. It is essential to maintaining and enhancing our well-being. With Whoop, I'm able to track my sleep every single night and how it affects the type of activities I choose to do the following day. Think of sleep as your bank balance. The best thing is that every single day you get the chance to deposit more into the bank so that in the long term, you withdraw in the form of energy expenditure when you need it most. Whoop breaks down sleep so as to take the guesswork out of the equation. Not only do you get guidance each day around how much sleep you need based on your activity that day and what your optimal time to go to bed is, but with Whoop, you get a detailed analysis of the quality of your sleep and what you can do to be improving it. In addition to monitoring your sleep, you'll also get detailed insights into your recovery, stress levels, strain, and feedback on how your lifestyle choices impact each of these metrics. If you are interested in taking control of your health and wellness so that you can excel in all aspects of your life, you have to go and check out Whoop. Go to join.whoop.com/untapped to try Whoop for free for 30 days today.
I always like the question of like, would we ever say Michael Phelps manifested 26 gold medals? Would we ever say that?
Probably not.
No. He, for him, yes, there was a lot of hard work, but also he was wiring his brain for that success, to see that goal or to, keep going. And so with the 5 techniques, we've got outcome, we've got process, creative, negative, and explorative. Now, the 4 others have nothing to do with like achieving a goal. They're all for different areas of your mind or your body or your personal development. The second thing I do want to mention is that I think culturally, when we think about manifestation, everyone does it like maybe at the beginning of the year when they're like, they're doing all their New Year's goals. The way you frame a technique really matters, because if you say, right, visualization is a mental fitness training tool that I'm going to invest in every day, you're not just going to do it maybe like once a year. It's something that becomes part of your routine. And so I really bring in visualization from a point of view of, well, why were athletes using it? What exactly were they doing to wire their brains to think, feel, and perform like the top 1%?
And you think that visualization can actually rewire your brain?
Yes, like not only am I living proof of that, but I see it every single day. Let's just look at the mind, right? The mind, what is it? We don't even know. We were never taught about it. But the brain is super interesting where like, it's got all these roads in it. So if we make it really simple, think of your brain like a city. And you've got roads that are motorways, country roads, roads that your parents built, roads that your teachers built, roads that you're now building for your kids, right? And the more you drive along them, they become permanent. So take, for example, what most people feel, like I'm not good enough. Or, oh no, but I can't do that. Or, oh no, like I'm not very good at maths. Those are the roads that we get built when we're young, but they keep going on because we keep driving on them. So how are you meant to change that? How are you meant to change those roads? There are 2 ways. One, you either experience something new, right? So let's say you suddenly did really well in maths. You're now maybe going to believe, oh yeah, okay, I'm actually okay. And your brain starts to believe that more. Or you use visualization. Because the amazing thing is that your brain really struggles to know the difference between what's real and what's imagined.
So what's the most common mistake people make when they're trying to do visualization?
Well, I think everyone's making it right now because everyone is already pretty much an expert. The problem is they're visualizing the worst case scenarios.
Is that just general anxiety, you would call that?
Well, it doesn't have to be anxiety. It could just be because, let's say you've had an experience where something went wrong, then you're naturally going to keep repeating that. And so I get a lot of people saying, I visualize, let's say, me going blank on stage or me not crossing the finish line of the marathon because I'm scared. Like we're trained to think a little bit negatively. And because we repeat that again and again, you're also wiring your brain, to become more anxious or worried.
So is that like, let's put this in sports terms, a striker who hasn't scored for 5-6 games. So is that negative visualization of him going, oh, I'm going to miss again, that's rewiring his brain in a negative way?
Yeah, because your brain will start to believe what you tell it and what you repeatedly tell it.